Hello, Councillor.
Well, good morning, Sean, and how are you and your household today?
Everyone's doing well. We're at home, surprisingly.
Yeah, oh, surprise, big shock, big shock. Well, in light of the recent announcements, and the message is stay home,
Right.
I would hope that a lot of people are home, except for, obviously essential trips out. So going to the doctor, going to the dentist, going to get groceries, hair salons are closed, just about everything is closed other than takeout. And,
Mhm.
and so I do hope that everyone is supporting their local businesses as much as possible by doing the takeout. So, but yeah, here we are at home. Well, I'm at the office.
I like my pretzels for takeout.
Yeah.
Including
City
yellow.
Hall is not open, by the way, other than I'm here, the mayor is here, and there are staff here in the building, but most staff are working from home. And it's working out very well, surprisingly.
So I guess we'll get started with that. Obviously, we know we can go for walks in our neighborhood. Can I go to another park in Hamilton? Can I go skating at Memorial Park? Can I walk around Memorial Park? Where can I go? Where can I not go? Where can I take
So
my
the parks, yeah, and those are all very good questions. The parks are open. In terms of traveling to other parks outside of our area, I don't think that's the intent of the stay-at-home directive from the premier. So, but yes, definitely, the skating loop is still open. It is not affected. The Freelton outdoor rink is still open. Dundas driving park is still open. All of the conservation areas are still open. Joe Sam. So and I do encourage people to go out. The dog park's open, by the way, because people were asking about the dog park, and I do encourage you to get out, once or twice a day. Go for a walk in your own neighborhood, yes, but we do have some beautiful parks in our Flamborough Waterdown area, so do get out and walk the trails. The trails are fabulous right now, so that has not been affected at this point.
I think on the dog park, somebody did ask, are we only going to have one dog park in Waterdown? Is there another one going to be built? Because it's just one right now, right?
Well, it took me 8 years to get this one. So, yeah, so at this point, and I don't mean to be facetious, honestly, but things do not move quickly at City Hall or at any other level of government, particularly the federal level, but which does affect us. But yeah, in terms of dog parks, I think we have a fabulous, I'm going to call it the state of the art dog park because, I have other areas complaining that their dog parks aren't nearly as nice as ours. But yes, so the dog park does remain open.
So we are at home, kids are at home learning, we're using a lot of internet. A lot of people
Yes.
specifically say, may we please have adequate internet access for rural Waterdown as well. But I think, yeah, so internet issues in town as well as rural areas.
Yeah, that is a big issue, and certainly one that I have been working with the province on. We did have the announcement a year ago in January that Bell is investing $400 million into broadband internet infrastructure in the rural areas of the city of Hamilton. So that's excuse me, that's all of Flamborough, rural Lancaster, Glanbrook, Binbrook, Upper Stony Creek, that's everywhere. That is being rolled out over 4 years. Right now, for the past 8 months, they have been concentrating on rural Ancaster. And there are pockets within Ancaster and Dundas and Waterdown, even within the urban areas, that do not have great broadband. They really don't. So, but that is going to take 4 years for that infrastructure. The province is also the province, or no, the federal government, I believe, very, very slow to rolling out their investment strategies, understanding that they're dealing with, an entire country of Canada. Provincially, for, the province of Ontario, I know that they are investing money. I'm not sure just what that looks like, but it is a real problem. And with the Minister of Education, or the ministry, I should say, rolling out the working at home and having the online learning for students, whether it's university, whether it's kindergarten, all ages in between, all grades in between, it is a real problem for a lot of people. Myself, I'm at City Hall. You know why? Because I don't have broadband where I live that is strong enough to be able to be on Zoom meetings all day long, which I am, which many people are working from home, and to be able to access the types of confidential files here at the city. So I am in here, and I've been in here every day since March. And, you know, quite frankly, it is one of the safest places to be. They clean this place 3 times a day. But you know, it is a real problem. And I'm not so sure that, that the Ministry of Education really understood the gravity of the situation and to what extent when they went to that, oh, let's do online learning for some students and in class for some others, and do a combination of the two. It's a problem.
So we will take a 360 or 180. I'm not sure what the term is, but we'll go right into break-ins into cars ripping up and down Parkside Drive. And then somebody else asks, why is there no police presence in Waterdown, and when will the station open?
So, you know, I really dispute that there is no police presence in Waterdown. I don't know how often people go out of their homes, and I'm not being offensive when I say that, but please, folks, the police are out there. If they are undercover, if they're in an undercover car and they're not in uniform, they're there, but you're not going to know they're there. And how can they do their job if they announce where they are all the time? But they are there. I see them all the time myself as I'm driving around the ward. You know, certainly whenever there's been an accident. But I want to talk about the break-ins, because, you know, I've said this before and I really want to stress it. If someone breaks into your home, your vehicle, your garage, even your backyard, please report it. Because the chatter I'm seeing online, or my staff are seeing and telling me about, is, you know, we have all these break-ins and crime is out of control and everything. When I talk to the police, they've had 2 reports.
Oh.
Two break-ins into cars that happened last week. 2.
So reported.
So as far as the police are concerned, there's been 2 break-ins in Waterdown. Now, if there's been 10 or 12, we need to report them. And this is really super important, because I am pushing constantly to the police and the paramedics and fire to, you know, this new station that we are getting in Waterdown. We are trying to find a location for it, but we are getting one in the next couple of years, probably the next 4 to 5 years. But for me to be able to advocate on behalf of you, the residents, you need to start reporting this stuff. And just, you know, putting it on Facebook isn't going to do it. You need to file a report. So please help me so that I can help you. And then we will have, and we have a very safe community.
And then somebody else asked, I'm curious about the road work being done on Parkside lately. I'd hoped that bike lanes would be going in, but it doesn't look that way. Will we have bike lanes on Parkside Drive? Why or why not?
So we do have bike lanes right now. So I'm not sure what area they're talking about. The bike lanes are on the section of Parkside from Hamilton Street heading west. There are bike lanes there. Now, if they're talking about the upgraded portion of Parkside, which is going to be part of the bypass, which is on the heading east on the other side of the tracks and will connect with Avonside, absolutely. There will be bike lanes. There will be a multi-use walking path. There will be boulevards. So, you know, all of that is going to be included. And that is something that I actually had passed at council 8 years ago now, that any new roads being built in Waterdown, Flamborough, would include bike lanes, so that we would eventually have this infrastructure. So more and more they are being included. Avonside is a perfect example. Burke Street, they all have bike lanes. And when Dundas Street is redone, Dundas Street East, from First Street all the way over to Brant Street, that is going to be redone summer 2022. It will also include bike lanes, sidewalks, the full length. on the south side.
Somebody asked, I reached out to the city of Hamilton recently regarding their community park rink program. No watered down parks currently qualify. Planning for next winter. Can we get funding to have a few parks retrofit with the qualified water and electrical outlets?
Yeah, and then, that is a very, very good question, because that is part of the issue. There are no water lines that go to, I'm going to take a park like Gatesbury as a for instance. That is one of them. Certainly the Mattamy Park I believe it's on Spring Creek. They do not have the infrastructure. They do not have any water lines, so any water that's actually at the park. In order to have the outdoor rink, you need to have the water infrastructure, which is exactly what they're asking for, and it's hugely expensive. The other thing is those outdoor rinks in community parks have to be run by volunteers. And so the city has the equipment, absolutely, once, if we do get the water into those parks. But first they need to get a commitment from the community that there is going to be a group of volunteers, whether it's a group of moms and dads, or whether it's one of the service clubs. And so that may be something that, folks could start thinking about for the next couple of years. There is nothing in the budget for upgrades to those parks for water for the next year or two. And that is partly because, there's millions and millions and millions of dollars being spent on Waterdown and Flamborough, this year, last year, the year before, and 2 years going forward on all the new infrastructure going in. There's about $200 million being spent. And so, when I hear people say, well, they don't invest anything in Waterdown, there's a lot being invested in Waterdown. That's how you get the new dog parks. That's how you get the ice loop. That's how you get the bypass, and on and on and on. And the new fire station and the new police station, that's $16 million right there. And that's going to be within the next couple of years. So in order to get these into the budget, it takes 3 to 5 years. And it's not just into a 1-year budget. It needs to be in a 3-year budget, because it takes more than 1 year to build a fire station and a police station, etc. And the roads are done over a period of 2 to 3 years. $70 million alone is going into building that bypass. Part of that bypass is complete. We are now going to be connecting it. And so it's a lot of money that is being spent. And I hope that helps people.
Here's a question seems to come up all the time. The eyesore on Dundas and Parkside Drive, the gas station and the old building. They're currently owned by people, right? So it's up to the developers to do what they want with them.
You're talking about Dundas Street and Hamilton Street, not Parkside.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Dundas and Hamilton Street, the old gas station, it's an eyesore. Can the city do anything to say, hey, build something, get your permits in order? Create something.
I've been saying that for 8 years. And for at least 5 of those years, that developer has been promising me that something would be built, to the extent that we actually had them in for meetings, getting their plans approved, getting their applications approved. And then the last 2 years, it's been absolutely crickets, other than getting that sign up. If you want to know what's going on, there's a great big huge sign on the corner with a phone number on it. Call them.
I called it.
There is nothing the city can do. There is nothing the city can do. And I will tell you, because I hear people say all the time, well, at least you could get them to demolish what's on that site, get them to demolish that gas station. Oh, I agree. If we could do that, that would be a hallelujah moment. Well, once they demolish, they are required to build within 2 years. And I don't think they want to do that, because that's why they haven't come in and asked for a demolition permit. And it's been proven, for 5 years now that they've been telling me they're going to build, and they haven't. So they know they're not going to build. And I don't know what the reason is, only they know. But I am disgusted, absolutely disgusted with the state of that property, and that those folks do not feel any responsibility to our community to be part of it. and to help beautify. That's right, at the downtown. They own those two plazas.
Wow.
They benefit from the community going into their stores, the people that pay rent into those stores, and supporting them and getting them their money. They should be doing more for the community.
Definitely.
Rant over.
All right, could you please ask about the painting no parking lines on Avonside Boulevard? There's a part where the parking narrows and people still park there. No parking on Avonside?
I'm not sure I'm understanding that question. If there are cars parked there and they're in a no parking zone or a no stopping zone, I encourage you to, phone the bylaw department. Bylaw is complaint driven. So unless people phone and complain about something, bylaw is not going to just drive around the city. We don't have enough staff to do that. And quite frankly, there's lots of people calling in with complaints. But I really encourage people that, if they see that happening, phone. And bylaw will go out there.
Going through all the questions here. Let's see. Will we get back to normal by Christmas 2021? Can I purchase here now for the Santa Claus parade?
Oh, God bless you. What a great question. And I think everybody is just so fed up with this. But folks, it is really important. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay home, do all the things that the Premier is asking you to do, that public health is asking you to do. As the only way we are going to get over this is doing those things and getting the vaccines. And I know people were wondering about the vaccine rollout. That is determined by the province working in concert with public health for the city of Hamilton. And public health is part of the province, okay? So even though we have a board of health that all councillors sit on, they receive their directions from the province, not from council. So they have assured me, because I've been really championing a lot for the long-term care facilities and the retirement homes in Waterdown. There are not a lot of vaccines right now, but they're doing a fabulous job rolling it out. And I'm so pleased at the number of people that have been vaccinated so far. Healthcare workers, they've really been concentrating on where the highest outbreaks are and the most need. To get our healthcare workers vaccinated is so important. There are homes in Waterdown that are included in that rollout. And the hope is that within the next 3 weeks, everybody in the long-term care facilities, including healthcare workers across the city, will be vaccinated. So I am just so relieved. And, but on the other hand, that vaccination is not the silver bullet. It's been very, very quickly rolled out. Usually it's a 3 to 5 year testing period and, efficacies that they have to go through and studies. And that hasn't happened because it's been rushed out there. So we still have a lot to learn from what happens to, people who get the vaccine. Can they still get COVID? Can they get a more milder form of it? I don't know. People who have had COVID, can they get COVID again? We don't know the answers to that. So in answer to the question, I'm on the Flamborough Santa Claus Parade Committee. We are meeting, we are talking about it, and every one of us wants to get back to putting the chairs out the night before. Although I will say somewhere out a couple of days before the night before, but that's one of the fun things of our community, and we all look forward to it.
All right, Stryker Road. So the road by Stryker.
Clapperson Drive.
Clapperson's Drive. When will that be open?
So I finally found out that the land registry office in the province, in the last couple of weeks, the registration of the subdivision for that business park, I think all the paperwork has been done. The next step holding it up is that part of the developer's responsibility in building Clapperson Drive is that they need to have street lights. They need to have the lines painted on the road for safety, and there needs to be a signalized intersection at Parkside and Clapperson Drive. because you've got a lot of people who are going to be using that access. And people tend to come from Highway 6 and go way too fast, speeding down that section of Parkside. We need to have a signalized stop in there. And my understanding from staff this morning, they got back to me and said that, you know, they have just received the plan for what that stoplight would look like. And they received it, I believe it was just before the break. So everybody got back to work on January the 4th and 11th, and they're going to be reviewing that. I don't know. I'm just, again, I'm so fed up and frustrated with that road because the developer was supposed to have it done more than a year and a half ago. That's all I can say about that.
Speaking of roads, Waterdown bypass. One, will there be access to Joe Sam's Park from Parkside, Victoria Pathway? Two, will there be any significant changes to the Parkside Railroad crossing?
Yes and yes. So yes, ever since that that section of the bypass has been under development, which has been since 2002, there has been a planned access to Joe Sam's Park. We were going to do an underground tunnel. They talked about doing a bridge over top. But we need to have access for seniors, for folks at Alexander Place who are, you know, in wheelchairs. That park, that trail is hugely, hugely popular and well attended. I go on it, you know, several times a month myself. So yes, there will be a signalized pedestrian crossing there, a very safe one. And what was the other part of the question? Was the railway crossing? Yes. Yeah. And actually the work on the railway crossing is being done by CNCP, and they are the ones responsible for designing that cross section. And my understanding is they will be starting construction on that in the spring of 2021, this year. A couple more months.
Somebody asked about when will the Fortino's renovations resume or be done? Resume, be done. I don't know if they're talking about like expanding into the plaza there as well. There's lots of parking lot.
Yeah, so the Fortino's expansion is quite extensive, and they are working on it now. As far as the completion date of it, I always understood that they were looking to be complete November of 2021, which is this year. But really, they're the only ones that can answer that question.
And I think they did. They replied to some people who were asking the questions.
Oh, good. What did they say? I should read that.
They were talking about like what products were going to be available in stores, and now I went.
Yeah. There is going to be a lovely area similar to the one in Westdale, where you'll be able to go in and there'll be, I think, 8 different food stations of different foods around the world, and tables and chairs, and more of a restaurant type of environment, which hopefully we can get back to soon, someday, yes. In the next several months.
Let's see. While I'm looking for more questions, anything that you want to add?
I do. Actually, someone did ask about the 7 strategic plan priorities for the City of Hamilton. Mm-hmm. Does the City of Hamilton have strategic plan, and how do they affect Waterdown Flamborough? And yes, we do. Actually, this is something that has been worked on for the last 2 or 3 years. There was quite extensive public engagement. We had over 55,000 residents participate in this. Many of them were from Waterdown and Flamborough area. Back when we were having in-person conventions, we did have one at the convention center downtown, which I attended a couple of them. And they were well attended each time by 400 or 500 people. Workstations were set up, a facilitator at each table. And so we did gather a lot of information. And I'm going to just read off what the 7 strategies are. First, and these are in no particular order of importance. So community engagement and participation, economic prosperity and growth, healthy and safe communities, clean and green climate change impacts, build environment and infrastructure, culture and diversity, and certainly our people and performance. And that is our people and performance is the 8,000 employees that we have in the city of Hamilton. Really, we've been working on a lot of customer service, getting our employees out to interact with residents. I am so pleased at the responses I get from residents on just, you know, staff were terrific. They came out, they talked to me, they helped me resolve my problem, et cetera, et cetera. So people are wanting to know, how does it affect water down in Flamborough? And every single one of these impacts our community. And I'll give you a perfect example: economic prosperity and growth. I have been working with our economic development department, and you know, we have Stryker that is now building a huge building at Clapson's Corners, 1,400 jobs coming to Waterdown, Flamborough, and the city of Hamilton. That is part of our strategic plan, is to attract all these really high paying, good jobs to our community. And there's been Stryker, who had at one time been looking to move out of our area. We were able over a 2-year period to convince them to stay and to build a new building. And their CHCH is here, WPE, all together in the last 2 terms that I've been on board working with staff. The team has been able to bring almost 3,000 jobs to the Clapson area and to Waterdown. So I am just delighted with you know, how well that's working for us. And that's just one of the examples of the impact. Looking at community engagement and participation. Right now we have a secondary plan that is being worked on for the past year. That is, how do residents want the downtown core area of Waterdown to look in terms of development? That is a perfect example of community engagement. You know, we've had public meetings. We had over 200 people attend a year ago, November. We have a stakeholders group that is meeting every other month right now with staff, and has been for the past year. We've had 2 virtual meetings that took place in the fall, and another one is planned, I believe, in the next couple of months. So that is part of the engagement, getting people engaged in what is going on in your community. And for, you know, clean and green initiatives, all the infrastructure that has been done, all the new infrastructure going in is definitely, you know, speaking to the LED builds in terms of having materials that are going into new buildings, particularly in the city, that are very energy efficient. So there's a number of the strategies that are solid, good strategies. We live in a wonderful area, and, you know, the engagement and getting involved in your city and in your community is hugely important. And I want to thank the residents who have been doing that, because an awful lot of you have been engaged. And speaking of engagement, Sean, community energy and emissions plan. The city is looking for people to be engaged. We want to hear from you. In your Flamborough Review this week, please don't throw out the Flamborough Review, that little newspaper that gets thrown at the end of your driveway. It has some really good stuff in it. And so there is a full page ad in there. This is what it looks like. And it's all about how to be engaged with the city. There will be a live information meeting on Thursday, January the 28th. It'll be from 7 until 8:30. So write that down. If you're interested in climate change, if you are interested in energy and emissions and all of that, which is so very important to us going forward, then Thursday, January the 28th, 7 to 8:30, you can go to the website, hamilton.ca. Very easy website, hamilton.ca, engage Hamilton. And that will take you to register and to sign up to participate. And if you can't do that, you can provide your information. There is a survey that you can fill out on that. So this is another great way to be engaged in the community. Please, we need to hear from you.
You had mentioned Clapson's Corners. What's the big glass building going up behind Walmart? The huge glass, like...
That is L3 Westcam.
Oh, West Cam. Okay.
That's the 1,400 jobs that are going to be in that building. And they're an amazing company, and many of their employees already live in Waterdown. We were afraid that the American company that owns them was going to close down their current location, which is just off the QE in Burlington, off the North Service Road. There's looks like a big spaceship there. And they have outgrown that facility, and they were looking for another location. And I was just so very glad when they called me and said that, you know, they were interested in talking to someone at the City of Hamilton. Who would that be? Right away, we mobilized the team, got economic folks involved, and it took us 2.5 years, but here we are. The building is almost done.
In a building, the seniors apartment building across from Fortino's. What's the latest on that? The long-term,
Oh, the retirement home.
Retirement home, yes.
Yeah, I thought that would have started by now. I'm hoping it'll be this spring. I'm not really sure what the holdup is, but it is the same retirement developer that has built the retirement home at the foot of Waterdown Road on Plains Road, that beautiful building. It's almost going to be a exact replica of that building.
Okay, and then Clappis's Corners. I know a while ago, like redevelopment in that area, proposed towers, a mix of housing and businesses. What's the latest on that at the actual, right at the corners?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is the Iconnect residential development. And yeah, so that right now, there's a huge zoning change that needs to happen because that entire area is zoned for commercial and industrial. It does not allow for residential. So that, again, the developer who owns all that property in there, who does want to build the Iconnect, they need to go through that whole process. It is very complex and it takes a couple of years to be able, and it will involve provincial ministry approvals as well because of Highway 6 and, you know, the Ministry of Transportation, MTO, MOE, because it's on the escarpment. So, you know, it really, we need long-term care facilities. We need to have new ones in there. And when it is built, again, it will employ about 300 people. So, you know, we've been working diligently with them. In fact, there was a meeting with them in November that I was part of. So they have a ways to go. They need to get some provincial approvals, but, you know, I've certainly been encouraging them.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add?
I want to really give another plug for Be Brave and Bloom. It is a career support conference for young girls, student age. They can be grades 7 and 8 all the way up to university graduates. And it is a free conference that is going to be online. Saturday, registration is open right now, so write this down. Saturday, February the 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is going to be the virtual conference. They've got some great guest speakers who are going to be interacting with all the girls that get online. Can be any age group at all. Go to my website, Judi with an I, partridge.ca, and the link is there for you to sign up. This Be Brave and Bloom conference is a partnership, which I am so happy to be part of, with Penny Deeth and Healthy Youth Network Group, which is a youth assistance group in Waterdown. We are so blessed to have them. And the Seroptimus Club of Waterdown, Dundas, and Flamborough and Ancaster, who are putting all of this together. So it's a wonderful, wonderful conference. I hope Presley can sign up for it.
Thinking that she's in grade 4 and she's 9 years old, so a little young.
Any girl, you know, and even though I did say grade 7 and 8, it's all about building self-esteem, giving them pointers on, you know, it's really tough for young women and for young men. What do I want to be when I grow up? You know, I still ask myself that sometimes. I've got a couple more careers ahead of me. What do I want to do? But for young people that are in high school and, you know, especially in grades 7 and 8, looking to go into high school, well, what courses do you take? What stream do you go into? You know, is university, college in your future, or is the trades more where you want to be? And when you look at skilled trades, skilled trades are a necessity of our life. Everywhere you look, you need skilled trades. So it really is all about helping people, young people, decide and to know about all the different careers that are out there, all the different options that are out there for them. Whether it's being a firefighter, a police officer, whether it's being a lab technician, a teacher, an electrician, a plumber. You'll never be out of a job with any one of those skills, any one of those trades that you go into. They are all good paying and well needed, because the retirement and the turnover of people who are currently doing those trades is significant. And it's already very, very difficult to even nursing, healthcare workers. Is that something that you want to go into? So I really encourage parents, sign your kids up for this. And, it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Saturday, February the 6th. And I guarantee it will be the best 3 to 5 hours that they will ever spend in their young days.
I will sign Presley up.
So I think that is about it. We covered off vaccinations.
Yes.
I just want to touch on the skating loop. You need to call and reserve space. That has been very frustrating for some people. Go online at 7 in the morning. Honestly, folks, it books up so quickly. I did have a couple of complaints about some hockey players from Burlington who had on their Burlington hockey team t-shirts. I think there were, the email I got, actually I got 3 or 4 emails on it, 5 or 6 people, young people with their hockey skates on the ice loop. They had been reserved by someone from Waterdown that they could skate. And people were really upset about that, because people who live in Waterdown weren't able to go skating. That time slot was booked up. I just want everybody, it's open to everybody. It is open to everybody. We go down to the RBG, we go down and, we go to Mountsburg, which is run by, Halton Conservation. Lots of us in our area go to different different Burlington places. But, I really, really want to encourage people to call early and call often to book up your spaces, because we need to have all these facilities open. Lord knows during COVID, we need to be able to get the kids out, and we need to be able to get ourselves out. Yeah. So thank you. I just wanted to reinforce that.
Well, thank you for your time, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Sean. As usual, I certainly appreciate this, and Happy New Year, everyone. I think this is the last week that we can say that. Yes. But I very much appreciate the residents being engaged. I'm sorry that we couldn't do our New Year's levy. We usually get 500 or 600 people at my levy at the skating loop, but if we can do something in the summer, we definitely will. Anyway, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Have a good afternoon.
You too. Take care.